Welcome back, Chumbas. I'm here with a list of things that disappointed me during my playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077, and it also made an impression of an underdeveloped material. We all know that the game was rushed out, to say mildly, and after 8 years in production the game still feels unfinished. Now let's get to the list. When I start playing any game, I want to understand and get excited about my purpose and goal in the events that play out. This is even more important in the RPG genre. Do you remember starting playing The Witcher 3? Even if you were new to the trilogy and had no idea of past events, right at the beginning of the game you learned that you're a Witcher named Geralt and you're looking for a person named Ciri. In addition, you have information about her recent whereabouts, places you will start looking for her. This is not exactly a lot of information, but it immediately gives you a clear goal, purpose, and enough information to get your epic quest rolling. In contrast, Cyberpunk 2077 starts with the rescue quest, in which you save a lady from being pulled apart by scavengers. After that quest, Jackie gives you the next big gig in your career, the one that will put your name on the list of regulars in Afterlife. If you're like me, you will hold the main storyline and go do some side quests like gigs from fixers and other minor activities such as assault in progress, reported crimes, and suspected organized crime activities. Since Watson is in lockdown and will be until you finish the main quest step, you might as well stay in the area and get some XP, loot and gear. This may actually take you around 20 hours of the game. At that time you may start asking yourselves, why are you doing all this? My main point is that until you complete the Heist quest, you will not know your purpose in the game world. All you will be doing is a paid job for someone else, which does not feel very rewarding. All you are is the gun for hire, a mercenary with no plan for retirement. To me that was quite disappointing, that for the big portion of the game's beginning I did not see my purpose, I did not feel excited to be in all of this. One of the biggest strange interaction happens right at the beginning of the Act 2. If you recall, Act 1 ends with V arguing with Johnny and trying to get the pills to make him go away. These are the last words.
Leave me alone! Get out! Just get the fuck out! Fuck me.
At the beginning of Act 2, among the few things that happen, you receive a notification that you may pick up your repaired car from the building's parking garage. A few wrong things happen here. First, if you travel quickly to the garage before building's maintenance sends you the message, your car doesn't spawn at the location. One way to trigger the spawn is to leave the area and come back. And when you finally get behind the wheel, a rogue Delamain car rams you and crashes your car. Look at V's reaction to the crash.
Johnny, did you see what happened? Something feels off here.
You don't say.
I don't mean the wreck, I mean the run. City's most courteous chauffeur up and drives away from the scene of an accident.
Why is V talking to Johnny like a good old friend? Just a minute ago, I was swearing to kill him and now we are good buddies? This encounter feels like there was not a one team at CDPR responsible for the coherent narrative of the game's story. I know that in the future we will communicate with Johnny on increasingly better terms, but this first quest, which is in the same building and may be completed right after the altercation with Johnny, should have been scripted slightly differently. Now let's talk about those quests that you will spend most of your time doing. Once again, there is a big difference in quest delivery from how it was done in The Witcher 3. Instead of speaking with the contract issuer and learning their problems, you receive a call from what they call Fixer, who explains the details of your next mission. The problem is that they all feel the same. A client whom you don't know and never will wants you to do something, either zero or rescue someone, or steal or plant something. You may never meet a fixer in the game, much less the client, so their problems don't have an emotional feedback, and in turn they all feel the same. There is an additional problem that arises from this kind of interactions with the fixer. The game uses a proximity trigger to initiate a call from a fixer offering a job nearby. Even if you are doing other quests, you may receive this phone call when you pass the area of the job. Aside from being a little annoying, always having those calls at an inconvenient time, these unsolicited calls will have no lasting impression on your memory. You won't listen carefully because most of the time you are doing something else. This will lead you to totally not remembering what exactly is at that location, just that there is something to do. Take a rite of passage quest as an example. Being in the area, I saw that there is a gig to do, but at that point I had no recollection of what exactly I should do there. And this leads me to my point. Since you don't remember what to do, the game's instructions tell you exactly what to do. The instructions are way too specific, like enter the clinic, get to the server room, steal the data. There is no room for questing, and it feels more like math homework problem rather than a free approach. In Greed Never Pays, you need to enter the room, but you already have the door code. Where did I get it? I don't even remember. You don't even need it anyway.
What a fucking shit sty.
Hey.
In Wakako's favorite, you need to find out what happened to Cheng Hun Nam.
Every net runner ends up the same way. Brain fry.
Looking into the laptop triggers the instruction update, follow the light. There wasn't anything in the laptop to get me this idea, so it's the game giving me instructions. But is it really necessary? I would find out anyway, the room is very small. Overall, it seems as the reason for such specific instructions is that developers knew that the player will not remember that out of the blue calls from fixers, and this whole situation feels underdeveloped. The next item on my list is the game's ending, which feels totally unsatisfying. And not only because there isn't a clearly good ending and all of them eventually lead to the same outcome. For me, the biggest disappointment was that after you complete the game, you are returned to the point right before you started the last step of the main story, which is called Point of No Return. At that point, you haven't completed the game and haven't participated in any ultimate activities. Which also means that all the cool gear, weapons and armor you didn't yet receive. This was the biggest upset to me when I completed the game. I mean, look at this smart gun. It's like 50% better than Skippy, which already was the best smart gun in the game. Or these boots that can help you land from almost any height. Well, unfortunately, you won't have those after completing the main story. Another underdeveloped item in the game is the map. It is fairly large, but probably smaller than The Witcher 3. I was expecting that instead of going wide, the game area of the Night City will go high. This didn't happen, as most of the buildings are off limits and only ones involved in some quests are available for exploration. Some areas of the map are available for exploration, and it's fun to get to weird places, enjoy the view and take screenshots. Unfortunately, this is all it will be, because finding hidden treasures and great loot was left in The Witcher 3 and wasn't brought to this game. In a world as big and beautiful as this, there is quite nothing to do. But not exactly. There are scores of places that you can, but will not, visit. I'm talking about dineries and bars. I have yet to find a meaningful reason for them to exist. In 2 playthroughs, I haven't visited any of them and I don't think I've missed much. Seems as they just exist to clutter your map, and clutter they do very well. Next I want to talk about skills that you can acquire in the game. The skill tree is a little more complicated than that in The Witcher 3, but overall I like the amount of options and possible builds you may have. However, because of the total number of skills here, some of them are not as important as others. In other words, some skills are quite useless. One of the best examples is Commando, not being detected underwater. In the entire game, you will not need this skill a single time. On the other hand, some skills make the game way too easy, even on the highest difficulty. Check out my videos showcasing quick hacking. Once you ramped up intelligence to 20 and cool to 16, you unlock skills that make you an unstoppable hacker, eliminating enemies in less than a second. In fact, this combination of quick hacking and increased damage from stealth is so overpowered that I'm trying to complete the game on the highest difficulty wearing no armor and using no weapons. I think this is enough for one day. This was me and my disappointing and underdeveloped things about Cyberpunk 2077. Tell me in the comments what disappointed you the most and what do you think could have been improved. I'm working on the second part, hopefully it will be up in a week or 2. Please like, subscribe, and consider pressing the bell button. And if you get your hands dirty in Night City, listen to Uncle Tokumura, who says that there are no clean hands, but it is important how they become dirty.